Yay.
Yay, we're live! Hey everyone! This is Lisa Nier, composer and mezzo, and I am so excited to be here with one of the stars of the One Voice Micro Opera Virtual Festival, Zach Finkelstein, tenor. Hi, Zach.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm great. I'm excited to chat with you today. Thanks for making the time in your busy schedule.
Yeah, absolutely. I love your piece, so I'm more happy to talk about it.
Oh, thank you. I'm so excited to be working with you. So, for people who don't know you, will you give us a little summary of what you do in the world of music and beyond, if you want?
Sure. Yeah, that's change seems to be changing by the year, but
Hmm.
um yeah, I basically started singing professionally about a decade ago in my mid-20s. I was working as a political consultant and I decided to go back to school for an artist diploma, and I graduated and went to Tanglewood, got an agent, like started touring and did the Tenor thing. And then about, I'd say like 5 or 6 years ago, I started going back to work with my firm. So I'm basically like a dual class if you play D&D, or dual career if you don't. So yeah, I basically do, during the day, or when I'm traveling in my hotel room, I work as a senior market research manager doing like data analytics and survey design and focus groups and interviews. I interviewed 22 people in the last 2 weeks for a project, so
Wow.
it really applies to the third career, which I'll talk about shortly. And then the rest of the time I sing a lot of early music. I do a little bit of opera, but because I started really late, I didn't do any of the kind of major young arts programs. So a lot of the companies were just like, I don't know what to do with this situation. Concert people love, light tenors that can wiggle a lot and, sing high. So, I've been doing a lot of that, Bach, Handel, a lot of messiahs in the last like 5, 10 years. And I do a lot of new music. So I've worked with the Zone Collective, Tim Weiss down in Oberlin, and we've toured together down to Guadalajara, up to up to the Midwest, and yeah, I mostly do concert solo stuff. I do a little pro choral stuff as well. I'm in Conspirare and Santa Fe Desert Chorale, and a couple
Sweet.
other things. So I basically am like like tenor to the highest bidder. But I just love singing, and I love the community that we've all built. So whatever's in that vein, I do. And then in the last year, I've been working. I guess you could call it working. Nights and weekends, I've been writing a lot on my site, Middle Class Artist, and I cover the stories in our industry that no one's really talking about. A lot of, I guess now it's investigative. Before I was a little hesitant to call it that, but there were some serious investigations this year. I think it's officially
Yeah.
investigative work now. And I talk a lot. I focused primarily on emerging artists for a while, and like how to get started, a lot of personal financial stuff, and then it's shifted more towards advocacy last March, when I lost 18 months of work, and I was very upset about that, and the all the safeguards that we had in place fell apart, and it was sort of like, well, what's going on? So yeah, that's, I guess, dual career with like a very heavy side project called Middle Class Artist, and I have a 2-year-old. That's sort of my life right now, or a
That's like
21-month-year-old.
3 or 4 like lives worth of creating and working and serving. It's pretty amazing, and I think I love that you're sharing so transparently on Middle Class Artist. I think that's the the source of information that would have really changed a lot of things in a good way for us as like college students to know some of that and to be armed with that, and also that you're sharing so openly about this other income generating source of a job that you have that's not in the music industry,
Mhm.
because I think, again, I'm thinking of like young um students studying college and conservatory, looking at someone's website like yours and seeing like all this amazing music and thinking this person can't possibly work anything other than music, and like you've just said that, like, actually yes you do. And you know
Yeah, and it's not,
yeah.
it's not as rare as you'd think. There are people, musicians are highly intelligent people. They're capable of a lot of different types of analysis, thinking. They're highly emotional intelligent. They've studied languages. They're excellent project managers. They work well with, whatever you want to call clients in this industry, conductors, artistic directors, board of directors. So, we have all those skills. We just don't really use them, especially not this year. We haven't used any of them.
Mhm.
So it's not as rare as you'd think that people wear multiple hats. It just because I started late and I jumped right into an artist diploma. I don't have a master's. I sort of felt imposter syndrome about teaching. I've never really
Mm.
I've taught master classes about Bach and stuff, but my areas of expertise relatively. But I always people send me students and I'm just like, I don't know, like there's so many better people in Seattle to do that, and I know my strengths and I play to them. And a lot of people have like multiple hats. A lot of our
Yes.
mutual friends, whether they work in administration at say a church or a full-time teacher or something completely different. I know a lot of people, especially in the last year, who've started doing more mathematical and like coding stuff. And things that pair well with a traveling lifestyle. And or a local and regional kind of career as well. So
And I think that's so important because with that information, then the next generation and also our current generation and beyond, anyone who's an artist who's wondering like why even though I get the gigs that are like exciting, or even though I'm having work that's fulfilling to me, why can't I make it all work
mhm.
financially wise? Like it empowers people so they can make different decisions so that they don't feel like a failure just because they're getting high profile gigs or artistically satisfying gigs but can't fill up their IRA. It's really important to share these things, I think. And so I'm so grateful that you have. Let's think a little bit into the future. In 3 weeks' time, this festival will be happening. And I'd love for you to tell the viewers a little bit about the piece that you've been in the process of recording and
Mhm.
doing a virtual performance that will be released in the festival. And what has that been like for you?
It's been a breath of fresh air. I mean, it's rare that someone, writes a piece in real time. Obviously, you're a singer and a composer, and it really shows in your writing. I mean,
Mm.
the use of text is so clear. I don't say a lot of things like about or like there's not like or like handle it so like continually like there isn't any of that stuff. It's very clear. It's concise. The libretto by Kendra Leonard is beautiful. It's highly topical. I have told my family about it, and they are making fun of me a little bit about it. But
I see. Okay.
it's basically like it's like the middle class artist aria, where I'm like, that's a total narcissistic way to think about it. But the issues I cover
No.
on middle class artists, where it's like, we didn't get paid like because of force majeure, and when do I get back to work, and how do I get back to work safely? Like these are the issues of our time for singers. So to be able to sing about that in a fluent language and with such beautiful writing. I mean, it's been such a pleasure. And it
Mm.
all came from our discussions about the things that I think about, and the things I think about are how do we get back to work safely, and what happened to all that money that we never got paid. That was my
Yeah.
that last spring. That was very high on my topics of things to think about.
Totally. And we had that conversation in the fall that led to this idea to write for you, and then to turn it into a festival. And I think I actually am sort of stunned myself when I start to sing music that speaks really directly to my lived experiences. I love as an actor the challenge of putting myself in a different time period in a different person's shoes, but I'm stunned by the power of something even that's not even that close, but like as it gets closer to my lived experiences, like how meaningful it is for me to share that through this art form that I love. And I'm so excited that those were some of the topics you wanted to sing about, because it gave Kendra and I the opportunity to dig into that too. Um, Comparing like uh, the process of working on this contemporary piece during pandemic to some of your standard rap or concertizing that you've done in the pre-pandemic times, what's the process that like? What's different about it?
Well, the main difference is I'm by myself. I mean, it's a very meta aria because it's all about being alone and waiting to kind of get back to that community. And it's the same thing. I mean, before the pandemic, all my work was very collaborative, especially new music. You know, we would tour pieces we've all done before. I'd run into soloists that I've worked together with them, and we go out for a drink, and you know, maybe my every valley would be a little sloppy the next day. You know, and especially around this region, I mean, everyone knows everyone. So Seattle's a very small, you know, town in that way. So, you know, the collaborative process over years, people I've been working with for 5, 6 years now. And so, you know, that is a major difference. That being said, there are a lot of benefits to this kind of virtual project. I mean, we basically got to set the terms of how we wanted to work, when we wanted to release it, what we wanted to sing about. And, you know, and we get to do it ourselves. And so that autonomy is really nice. And using all these fancy things that I bought during the pandemic is also really nice.
Yay for return on investment for the mics and
Yes,
ring lights.
someday. Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Well, before we wrap up, I wanted to ask you a little bit about, you have 2 albums already released, and I'd love for you to tell us a little bit about them. And then I hear a rumor from you that there's a 3rd one coming. So maybe you can give us a little peek into what's coming for people they can look forward to, because we all need new things to listen to now, and also something to look forward to.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know, my musical taste has kind of been evolving over the last 4 or 5 years since, you know, I released the Britain Canticles in 2017 with Byron Schenkman and a lot of other amazing singers and performers. And, you know, that was a very special piece to my heart at the time, coming out of, you know, the Britain Peers Young Artist Program. And I was just, I mean, Benjamin Britten's still one of my favorite, probably my favorite composer.
Oh, he's amazing.
Yeah, and as a tenor, I mean, it's almost like a rite of passage singing that work. So, you know, I really wanted to. That was what I wanted to do first. And then, you know, in I think 2018, I met up with Dieter Hennings-Yeomans, who's this virtuoso guitar player at University of Kentucky. And we met on a gig in Guadalajara, singing this piece Comala by Ricardo Zon Muldun, and it was just unbelievable. And his playing just stunned me. And he was also like a dual Baroque lute player, so we had so much in common. Yeah, he was unbelievable, and he's like a rock star. So anyway,
wow.
I was like, we have to do something together. And then we started with a little bit of Britain, and then it turned into a bunch of new music. And now, you know, as my taste has grown, and as my priorities have shifted more towards, you know, equity in our industry, and I've gotten like very like political about how I want, you know, to live my life in this industry. Like I want to speak up, I want to say something, and I want to build a community of people who want to do the same. So I reached out to a lot of composers I respect who feel the same way, who've been very active on all the issues I care about. And I just kind of gave them carte blanche. I was like, it has to be classical guitar and tenor, but other than that, like, go for it. And so these people are in no particular order. And also, I've never like actually interacted with these people in real life, so I may murder their names. Felix Gerard, Kamala Sankaram, and Renee Orth, Daniel Pesca, Jonathan Woody, and as of today, a news alert, Lisa Nair. We're gonna hopefully rework this for guitar, and collaboration with Lori Laitman to redo the Apple Orchard for guitar and tenor. So that's kind of like the rough sketch, and about half the pieces are in now, so it's happening. And, you know, pending pandemic shenanigans, I want to record this again in Bastyr Chapel in August and hopefully release in the fall. I mean, when I say, I mean, it's really hard to plan stuff right now. But, you know, with a guitar, it's basically just my producer and I, and then I have to fly in Dieter and keep him safe. So, you know, we're hoping that we can both get a vaccine by then. And, you know, I can, you know, do it in a way that's safe for everybody. And, you know, we can bang it out in 2 sessions and you know, call it an album. So yeah, I'm really, really excited for that. It's a passion project of mine, and hopefully, you know, by the time it gets released, things will kind of be back to, you know, working, and I'll be able to actually give people an album at a concert, you know, someday. We'll see.
Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. Yeah, I'm just super, super stoked that I get to be a part of this. And, you know, I think the sort of creative projects that we can do that are small numbers of people working, you know, carefully in person or remotely in really creative ways. I mean, these things have taken a lot of time and effort to think about, to sort of rearrange and alter things or push some things off and find a space for something new. But they've been incredibly meaningful to me this year. And I think they are also really meaningful to the people who get to receive this gift of the music you're creating. So I'm super
I
stoked.
hope so. Yeah,
It's going to be
it's
awesome.
a total lifeline. I mean, doing these
Yeah.
projects. So thanks for bringing me on.
Oh my gosh, it's my pleasure. So everybody watching, clearly you can tell that Zach is enormously talented across many different areas of expertise and within music across lots of different repertoire. I got to hear the kind of first cut of his performance of Now Available. Now Available is going to wrap up our festival. It's the Friday, March 26th, the final of the 5 episodes of this festival that runs March 22nd to 26th. And I'm going to drop a link in the comments right after this where you can register to get the link to each day's opera sent right to your inbox. And you can also register if you would like, in addition, for the Zoom Q&A and talk back with artists like Zach, where you can ask all your questions to the artistic team behind this and, you know, raise a beverage of your choice virtually in the reception. Huzzah. So please check us out and spread the word. We can't wait to share these operas with you. And thanks again to Zach for being present here.
Thanks so much, Lisa, for having me out.
Yay!